Don't forget to push that like button as it does help out the channel. And if you are new here, hit the subscribe button and enable all notifications so you don't miss a single video. And I thank you for 7 years of support. Broly's role in Dragon Ball Super Superhero has become the talk of the town, and a lot of people are heavily invested in not just Broly in this movie, but Broly after this movie, because I will tell you right now that Broly is a character that's here to stay. He was reintroduced to the franchise with the pen of Toriyama in Dragon Ball Super Broly, and by the end of the film, he formed what you could call a bit of a friendship with Goku. It's definitely not the same as the original Dragon Ball Z Broly in any way. But I digress. Broly is not going anywhere. He is in Dragon Ball Super Superhero, and that won't be the last time that we see the character. At this point in Broly's life, it's been a few years because Dragon Ball Super Superhero takes place a few years after the Broly film, close to the end of Z timeline. So, since the end of Dragon Ball Super Broly, when Goku gave him the little thumbs up and said, "Call me Kakarot," he's been under the tutelage of Goku in order to not only increase his own power, but to control it. On April 28th, 2022, I did a live stream here on the channel where I discussed that I was told point blank by sources that Broly is going to be much stronger in this film than he was in the last one. And if you remember, in the last one, he was a problem. It took Goku and Vegeta fusing to form Gogeta Blue to defeat him because he gained so much power from the fights that he had with the Saiyans in that film that they had to fuse. He was able to cut through 2 Super Saiyan Blues without even having God Ki. So what does that tell you? The guy is a freak. The reality is that Broly is a mutant of the Saiyan race. While Goku, aka Kakarot, was born a low-class warrior and trained to become a great martial artist, you also have Vegeta, who was a Saiyan super elite, who also trained but was kind of born with that incredible potential and power. Broly, however, is a mutant and has access to power that he doesn't even know how to control because it's based on his own rage. Broly gets stronger as he fights. It's sort of like a more powerful version of what you would call a Zenkai boost, except with Broly, he doesn't have to be near death. Just him in battle increases his power. And it's been talked about that maybe Goku and Vegeta have like a lesser version of this, but nobody grows as fast as Broly when it comes to power in the history of this franchise. But we know that Goku is very experienced in martial arts, and we know that Beerus and Whis are themselves extremely knowledgeable, even more so than Goku, and we've seen them teach and train Goku and Vegeta in powers that they would have never even imagined existed. In Broly's case, power isn't the issue, it's about control. On May 2nd, 2022, I did a video here on the channel that I called The Road to Super Saiyan Blue Broly Confirmed in Dragon Ball Super Superhero, and I discussed a scan that had come out which was translated by Herms, who's been translating for us for 25 years and is probably the most experienced and best translator that we got, discussing Broly. It was all about Broly and comparing Broly's power to that of Goku and even Vegeta. And in that, it talked about how Super Saiyan Blue is the form that Broly had trouble fighting against in Dragon Ball Super Broly. Obviously, it was Gogeta Blue. It wasn't just a regular blue. It was a fused blue, but it still goes on to say that blue is probably the best transformation to aim for. Since this article's framed in terms of Broly, they're implying that Broly should try to get Super Saiyan Blue, and Goku and Vegeta, along with Whis and Beerus, can teach him that because we saw in Dragon Ball Super the anime, specifically in episodes 15 through 18, that they were able to help harness this power, and the way they did it was teaching Goku and Vegeta that unlike the regular Super Saiyan forms, the God forms do not really require rage, and they're not based on rage. They're based on actually having a calm spirit and being able to contain your own energy. So in some ways, Super Saiyan Blue is the opposite of Broly. And Broly's, I guess you can call it legendary Super Saiyan, whatever you want to call it, the final form that Broly uses is called Broly Full Power. So that form is, in a way, the opposite of Super Saiyan Blue. Now, we saw something like this similar in the Tournament of Power with Kale. You have to remember that in the Tournament of Power, Kale had a transformation that was very similar to Broly's. Now, obviously, both Broly and Kale were based on the 90s Dragon Ball Z Broly, and their powers are very similar. So Kale uses this Berserk power where she gets an incredible power boost, her muscles get big, she turns gigantic, and she shows really ungodly levels of strength, but then later she learns how to control it. And when she learns how to control it, she does not transform into Super Saiyan Blue. Instead, she transforms into something that's somewhat in the middle of the Rage form and a regular Super Saiyan form, where you retain the power, but you actually are in control. It seems logical to me that this is the direction the Broly character will take, in that it's not necessarily that Broly will learn Super Saiyan Blue, even though that is probably something to aim for. It's that he will have to figure out how to control his own rage. But you have to remember something. Broly is a mutant. So because he's a mutant and his biology is different than Goku and Vegeta's, not entirely different, but somewhat different, that pretty much means that Broly, if he does attain some kind of God transformation, it may look totally different than what Blue is, because much like with Goku Black and Super Saiyan Rose, he was like a hybrid God Saiyan, back in the Trunks arc. Broly is a freak of nature, literally. Now, in the same scans, these articles about Broly, they also discuss Vegeta and Ultra Ego. Now, if you want to learn about Ultra Ego, I have a video on my channel called Ultra Ego Explained, or Ultra Ego Vegeta Explained, and that's pretty much the best explanation for Ultra Ego in the entire fandom. And I'm not stroking myself off here, it genuinely is, and it required a lot of research. But what this article says is that when it comes to Vegeta's Ultra Ego, it talks about how he trained with Beerus to seek the power of a god of destruction, but the evolution that Vegeta went under is a different pathway than Goku. Goku is trying to master Ultra Instinct, Vegeta's trying to use Ultra Ego. So it's almost implied in these scans that Broly is going to either figure out how to use both of them, which would make him incredibly powerful, or what I think is likely to happen is that Broly will be using his own kind of mutated form. Remember, you have to remember, Broly is a mutant. So even his version of Super Saiyan is not quite the same as Goku and Vegeta's. There are biological differences. So if Broly were to achieve a form like a Super Saiyan Blue, or even above that, like an Ultra Instinct or Ultra Ego, it would probably look different. However, I will tell you this. I know for a fact that this Broly storyline is going to go past Dragon Ball Super Superhero. This is an ongoing storyline of Broly trying to find himself that will continue into the future of Dragon Ball, wherever that may take us. Broly is going to be competing with Goku and Vegeta to determine who is the strongest Saiyan. And as of right now, Goku and Vegeta, with their ability to use Ultra Instinct and Ultra Ego, are gonna pretty much overcome Broly. However, once Broly figures out how to either use those or get his own mutated version, there could be some real trouble coming. But don't worry, because Broly's going to stay on the good side. This new version of Broly will not be evil again. At least I don't think he will. Who knows what Toriyama will write in the future. And he'll be working alongside Goku and Vegeta for many adventures to come. Before we close, I want to discuss Super Saiyan 4, because a lot of people, I've seen this comment everywhere, that they think that when Broly does eventually master his power, that he will tap into, I guess what they're calling like a rebooted, remade Super Saiyan 4 from GT, except in Dragon Ball Super. And while I do see that being something that a lot of people will probably be happy to see, I do not think that's the road they're taking with the character. I mean, I'm just being honest. I can't see the future, but my instincts, no pun intended, tell me that Super Saiyan 4 will not be a factor here. Broly does have a form where he's able to take the power of a great ape and internalize it without transforming, but that is not Super Saiyan 4. People seem to get confused about this. Super Saiyan 4 was a result of a golden great ape getting brute waves from the full Earth in Dragon Ball GT. That is not the situation that's going on with Dragon Ball Super. Whatever Broly gets is probably going to be new and not seen before, unless it's that Kale form, which we did see before, but it does seem like the most likely road for Broly's character. Have a great day, and I will catch you down the road.